Pleased to welcome here to Montana Talks Representative Jodi Dooling, newly elected, serving in the Helena area. Julie, thanks so much for joining us here on Montana Talks, especially with a busy day back there in the Capitol.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, talking about some of the legislation that's being introduced, I hope this one just sails through with unanimous support. There's now a bill in the legislature that would honor fallen Broadwater County Deputy Mason Moore with the Mason Moore Memorial Highway. So tell us about this legislation.
Well, Sheriff Mahan asked me to carry this bill on behalf of Jodi Moore and the Broadwater County Sheriff's Department. And what it does is, at the mile marker where the incident occurred, they'll be placing a marker just on one side of the highway, a double-sided sign, memorializing Deputy Moore, and just to make a sad spot a bit more happier. And yeah.
You had a committee hearing already on this legislation yesterday to name the Mason Moore Memorial Highway, and I've talked with his wife Jodi Moore before. What a remarkable woman and family, and the way that she's not just keeping his legacy alive, but also giving back to others in the law enforcement community. You know, they started the Mason Moore Foundation where they raise money to help buy protective equipment for law enforcement officers across the state. If that equipment isn't already covered by the budgets for those departments, for example. I understand she gave some pretty emotional testimony yesterday as well.
She did, and she is an amazing woman, and how she's taken this horrible tragedy and tried to make a brighter spot, and doing a lot of work for other law enforcement is just amazing. The testimony was pretty heart-wrenching yesterday.
And a packed house with law enforcement from across the state, I understand, that showed up also.
Yeah, I would say there were probably 30 plus people there attending.
Yeah, that's great. What message do you think it also sends about support for law enforcement in general, that we recognize one of their own and one of our fallen law enforcement officers? Is that an important message to send in this day and age?
Well, it is, especially with the amount of officer-related shootings that we've had, in Montana and nationwide. They're our first line of defense in so many venues, and we need to support them as best we can.
Yeah, and just here in the opening weeks of, it's only January 22nd, and across this country we've seen so many law enforcement officers who've already been murdered in the line of duty. We had that young woman out in California, and then she got and then they were attacking her photograph because there was this great photograph of her with the blue, with the thin blue line American flag that she was carrying behind her, blue gown, and even after she gave her life in defense of her community, she got attacked by, I think it was some students at UC Davis in California, because of her flag that they claimed was racist. It's just getting so absurd out there in this day and age.
It is. It's absolutely awful.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, Julie Dooling, representative, newly elected out of the Helena area. Thanks for putting this legislation forward. What else is going on back there in Helena? What are some other bills that you're going to be working on?
There are a couple different things coming down. I've been working and presenting a couple agency bills, kind of some housekeeping, cleanup issues. There will be a pay plan presented in appropriations today, and just a couple other things. But those, the Mason Moore, that was my big one. That was most important to me.
Yeah. Well, that's great, and what a great way to honor such a great family and continue the work being done by the Mason Moore Foundation. Jodi Dooling, really appreciate you joining us here on Montana Talks. Thanks for calling in this morning.
All right. Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Great to talk with you.